Hey, welcome into a Tuesday night here on Northwoods TCG. Thank you, everybody that's going to be joining in tonight. Greatly appreciated to have you in here live. But if you're not live, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, and of course, hit that notify so you know when we are going live here on Northwoods TCG. Of course, tonight we're going to be talking about two main topics. Number one, going to be, of course, that Pikachu coming back. That's right, the Pikachu of the Great Felt Hat making a return. And number two, the next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be what's going on in the market right now with the Pokemon TCG. So, number one, interesting news. Pikachu of the Great Felt Hat coming back along with the other three, some Flora, and I think there's two other ones that are coming back. I can't remember the names right off the top of my head, but that could be a big change to the Pokemon market. Now, the one question that did come up that I don't know the answer to 100% sincerity is, are they going to make it in Japanese? Now, I do not know that. That was a question that came up on Instagram. I'm just kind of curious to know if that's truly going to happen, or is it just going to strictly be, an English version like they've done sometimes in the past? They've gone both ways, so it's really, really hard to tell. When they sold it in Europe, they went with the English. When now they're doing it in a Japan release in September of 2025, does that mean that in September of 2025 we might see a Japanese version? That's going to be the real question to a lot of individuals coming out, and when we get that answer is really going to determine the factors and how it's going to play out in the market. How many of these are going to be produced? 3,000 yen get it purchased gets you one of those cards, one of the four. They're going to be a random selection of those cards, so once again, you're not being as able to purchase it like we saw with the actual original one. So you can sit there and try and get the Pikachu of the Great Felt Hat. It's going to be more random. Does that mean it's going to show up on Pokemon Center? Are they going to do something on Pokemon Center again with it moving to Japan in September of 2025? Still a lot of unknowns at this point in time. It's going to be really interesting to see how that's all going to play out here as things move forward and as time goes on. So once again, I just want to kind of cover that when it comes down to the possibilities for the Pikachu with the Great Felt Hat coming here in September of 2025. Watch those prices. If you've missed the opportunity, or if you feel like you've missed the opportunity, you might get that opportunity back right now and have an opportunity to get this at a little bit of a lower price. So make sure you take advantage of that as you're looking at that particular item. Kind of really cool news, really good opportunities potentially. We're going to see as we get closer to September how that's going to play out. Next thing I want to talk about is the market itself. Mega evolutions have been released on Pokemon Center. So hopefully you guys have taken your advantages today and got in line, got in those queues, and got those ETBs. If you did, congratulations. If you missed it, I'm sorry, but watch Pokemon Center for another release. Sometimes they'll do another one here in a few weeks, a month, possibly even a little bit further down the road as they get their numbers all figured out and figure out what they have. Sometimes they'll do another little bit of release. So if you did miss it, does not mean necessarily that you're completely out of the game. Just means it became a lot more difficult. The queue was up for a very long time. I will say that when it comes down to the queue, it was available for a long period of time. There was a long waiting line. It actually lasted a lot longer than what I thought it would have. Even with the black and white release, it lasted probably another hour or two longer than what we saw with the black and white release. So that's another factor to how many of these are they producing. And we do get a booster box. We're getting all the stuff with this particular set. So it's kind of cool to see how this is going to all roll out here in the near future. So one of the market trends right now is watching those Mega Evolutions ETBs, those Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. You could have pre-ordered them at your Best Buy one, so just the regular ETBs became available at Best Buy. And of course, there were two of them. You could get the Gardevoir or the Lucario box from the Pokemon Center. So both of which became available today in the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. So make sure that you're watching the trends on those. Watch Pokemon Center if you missed it. If you did get it, congratulations. Huge market win for you, I believe, when it comes down to this particular set. Black and white, payments have been taken. We are coming up on Friday being the release. Hopefully everybody's excited for the new set from Black and White to be released here. Hopefully we can have some fun, enjoy the set, and once again, lots of illustrator rares, lots of secret illustrators in the set. Going to be a lot of pulls, a lot of things happening on this particular set. And once again, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really good set. Overall, I think it's going to plan out fairly good. We're going to have 156 illustrator rares and secret illustrator rares in this set, so there's going to be a lot coming on this and lots of opportunities here. I think it's going to be fantastic. So overall, market's going to be a little bit going to be shifting again here on Friday for what's happening. We might see some things loosen up. We might see some things move a little bit differently this week. We're going to be seeing a lot of product become available on our different websites and our different locations, so that's going to be happening as well. And overall, the market's going to be shifting for that A lot of money is going to be flowing into black and white and into those particular sets. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. What does that mean for Destin's Rivals? What does that mean for Prismatic? What does that mean for Journey Together? And what does that mean for Surging Spark? Well, I think we're going to see continuing market trends as we are currently seeing right now. I think it's going to continue to move in that right direction. Overall, I think that we got a small reprint of Surging Sparks. I know some people made it sound huge. Some people said it's going to trash the market. Overall, appears to be the same as what we've been seeing through most of Scarlet and Violet at this point in time. Very, very small. Going to make a little bit of a dent in the market. We saw the prices go down. I was able to get some from distribution. We have some of that as well from Surging Sparks here in the shop and in the stores. So we do have that available for you guys. Once again, not surprising. Overall, the pricing on it has been doing really well. It went down, it went back up, and currently at this point in time, last time I looked, it's about $235 a booster box. So we did see a retraction. It went down to like $210 for a little bit, and then it went right back up. So it's not really making a big difference on that. So I'll look at it right now because I looked on Sunday. It's, of course, Tuesday. Let's give you an up-to-date here for where we're at currently with the booster box. Yeah, we're up to 143 now. So well, actually, the next one's 152. So we're going up in price, going back up to the 250 mark, going up very, very quickly. So 252 right now is the next mark on Surging Sparks. We had that dip, went down to about 350 or 215. Now it's recovered and continuing to move up in that upward direction. Not 100% surprised overall with the current hype in the market. If you think there's going to be a crash, I say go look at Walmart. If you still can't go to Walmart and buy product and it's still empty shelves at this point in time, then why would you think there's going to be a crash? The only thing that's going to cause a crash right now in the Pokemon TCG is if the Pokemon International Company decides to print a ton of product and really just flood the market when it comes down to these particular products. So overall, I still think that the markets are very, very secure. Pokemon International has not changed their printing schedules. They have not changed their way of thinking. And they are continuing to move forward on that and continuing to push no reprints, no major reprints. Some product comes back, not a lot of product. Could we see more Prismatic? Absolutely. I think that Prismatic could be our Shining Fates / your Crown Zenith of the Scarlet and Violet era. It's right at the end. That's the last specialty set of the era besides besides black and white here. And I think that overall, I think it's going to do really well. I think it's going to be a continued push for the Pokemon TCG to run into the new era of the Pokemon TCG. Well, now we're moving into the new era. We're moving out of Scarlet and Violet. The last set is going to be released on Friday. Everything's going to change. Everything's going to change how they look at that and what's going to happen at the beginning of this new era. Is it going to be successful? Are people going to enjoy it? Are people really going to see the value in these cards right off the bat? Or are we going to repeat the beginning of Sword and Shield, the beginning of Scarlet and Violet, the beginning of Sun and Moon, the beginning of XY, where we have a downturn in the overall demand in the market because people don't want to shift? They go, oh, there's too much stuff that I like in Scarlet and Violet right now, so I'm going to stay back in Scarlet and Violet. And they'll stay back until the big set like 151 or some other set comes up that's going to drive people into it. And once they come, it'll become a complete and total Wild West again, as we've seen for the last two eras, even in Sun and Moon. It was the same thing, guys. Market trends continue. Trends are a fun thing that people don't really understand when it comes down to investment, when it really comes down to what people see. We see a continuing trend every single time that a new era rolls over. We see a continuing trend in the market every summer to winter to fall. We see continuing trends. The sooner you can get in on those trends and understand them, the more prosperous you're going to be. And we're seeing that right now. Pokemon's going into a new era. Is Mega going to be enough of a set to really drive that? Mega Evolution is going to be enough to drive that set and keep the momentum of Scarlet and Violet going. That will be yet to be seen. I think it could. I think that the Mega set could be enough to do it, especially depending on how big they make this. How much are they going to really play into these Mega Evolutions? How many sets are we going to get of Mega Evolutions before we actually move into Gen 10? Is this going to be a really long ran subset of the Pokemon TCG? Or is this going to be another one of those long, just short little spouts like we saw with Aquapolis, with the Expedition, and Skybridge? You might see a little one with that e-reader series when it first took off. See a condensed version of like 3 or 4 sets here that could be the Mega Evolution sets or Mega sets. And then we might move on and we might move into the next era, which is going to be Gen 10. So it's really going to be interesting to find out how this is going to happen. Is the Mega sets going to be enough to do it? I think it could. I think it could keep that momentum going. We're not seeing a big change. We're not seeing like going from, VMAX, V-Star to going to GX or EX. We're not seeing going from EX now to GX. We're not seeing a change in the cards necessarily, or the Illustrator Rare styles, or the Secret Illustrator Rare styles. We're still getting EX. They're just saying Mega, Mega Lucario EX, Mega, Gardevoir EX. All these Mega cards are coming back, but that's very, very similar to the Scarlet and Violet era, even though they're saying we're done with Scarlet and Violet. So a lot of unknowns right now, a lot of things in the air. We don't have new starters. We don't have any official rollout for Gen 10. Is this going to be Gen 10? Is this going to be long-lived? Is this going to be short? That's all going to be really, really driving to the market. We've talked about this before. I think that Antonio, I see Antonio's in here. Welcome on in. And Blitzkrieg, thank you so much for joining in as well. Antonio brought it up that, hey, we're going to get Mega Rayquaza here probably in the next set. Mega Rayquaza set is definitely going to be the banger set. The first set here, maybe a little slow. We'll see. We'll see how well it holds out. It didn't sell as fast. If they have the same amount of Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes that they did for Black Bolt and White Flare, we're definitely seeing a little bit slower of a purchase time. Not as many people bought it as quick. The pre-release lasted a lot longer than it did for the last 3 sets. So that could be an indication that either A, number one, Pokemon International made more of the Elite Trainer boxes, or number two, people are a little bit slow going into the Mega set. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, you get a Mega Venusaur, but you don't get the big 3, right? You're only getting one of the big 3, and let's be 100% honest, it's probably the smaller of the big 3. I'm sorry, Venusaur fans. I know some people really like Venusaur and love Venusaur. Absolutely agree. Big 3, regardless, it's one of the big dogs. Blastoise and Charizard still reign supreme on that, and Charizard's always going to be number 1. So really going to be interesting to see how all this continues to roll out and where our demand is. Are we going to get more print of the Mega set from our distributors? We don't know. We were kind of same story as the last 2. We'll let you do this, but we're going to give you possibly a lot less. So we're going to see how that rolls out. If I end up with the same amount again, it is what it is. But at least we're staying consistent when it comes down from distribution too. Maybe we'll see more. Maybe the market's cooled enough at this point in time that we're going to see a change, that we're going to see a retraction, a little bit of a pullback for how much people are ordering. So that would be a good thing. Maybe more opportunity coming for us in the pre-orders when it comes down to the next set coming up in the Mega Evolution set. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening with the numbers on there as well. Overall market, though, still staying at about a pretty consistent trend. If you go through most of the products, all this crash nonsense should be going away. We've seen the kind of a little bit of a dip, and I can pull up a lot of them. I mean, we can go to Journey Together right now, so I'll do that right now, just to make sure that I give you the current up-to-date. I always try and give you current up-to-date for right now, so I'll pull that open right now at this point in time to see where we're at. Right now, Journey Together, the enhanced booster box right now is sitting at about $215 currently at this price. Been pretty well flatlined right now at that price, around that $200 to $215. Not much movement on that for the last month now. At this point in time, we can go to the regular booster box, which is just going to be a standard one. And once again, same kind of news. Since about end of May through June, we've been pretty flatlined on Journey Together. Let's be 100% honest. Destin's Rival is a way better set than Journey Together. I think that overall it has a lot more fan favorite Pokemon in Destin's Rivals. Plus, you get the Team Rocket feel and all of it that goes with it. I kind of knew, and I've talked about that before when Journey Together came out. I thought it was a weaker version of the 2 sets. So overall, it's performing like I would have figured, right around that $200 range. If you could have got it MSRP or a little bit under, you're still doing all right on your value. But are we going to see that continued value and growth in the future? I think it'll do well futuristically overall. I think there's still time, and people are still a lot of concern for the overall, I don't want to say it, the overall market still getting reprints of that one. The last 2 sets of the era are always more susceptible sometimes to getting reprints into the mega sets. And as things kind of cool in the Pokemon TCG, they tend to go for the later sets and try and push them a little bit harder. So I think that concern is there as well. Destin's Rivals, once again, booster boxes were down. They were down about 250 after release. They kind of kept dropping. They were 311 pre-release. They dropped down as expected as the release occurred all the way through May. And as we went into May release, they've kind of just continued to slowly drop down into about 250, 240 at some points there on TCG Player. These are all TCG Player numbers. These aren't any place else. This is just the numbers that you're able to get. Right now, if you were like a TCG Player, they're at 275, 245, 247, kind of the low points at one point after release. And now we're back up to 265. So we're seeing some movement upwards in that upward direction. Next one right now is going to be about 270. So we're seeing the value of these going up. to about 270 right now, and I'm looking down the list, and yeah, the next one's 270, then we're going to be going to 275, then we're going to be going up to, yeah, 275 becomes pretty consistent. There's 50 of them at that 275 range, so that's really where we're going to see another little bit of a hinge on those. But unless someone sneaks in underneath and try and put some low cuts in there or try and sell them at a lower price, but generally speaking, that's going to be where we're standing currently at this point in time. Is you're going to have the booster boxes getting up to about 275, and they're going to flatline until we get through about 50 to 100 of them, it looks like, on the next page here. So we're going to have about 100 of them at that 275 range right now before we get through that little bit of a sticking point. Once we get past the 275 sticking range, then they're going to 280 pretty quickly. So yeah, looking at the numbers, we're at about 78 booster boxes right now at about 275. And then the market's going to go up again. So just so everybody's aware where we're at currently on that as well for the market. Destin's Rivals definitely had a little bit of a sticking point at 275, but I don't know how long that's going to hold up. The other thing we can look at, just to give you an idea when it comes down to where we are currently at that market value, is right now 275 has been pretty consistently sold. How many of them were sold today is really going to be the real question that I'm kind of looking for right now, is you can get a feel for how many you're selling per day, and that'll tell you whether or not you should be looking at this, or is it something that's going to take some time to eat through that. Currently we're looking at 1 2 3 4 5 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28. So we sold 28 Destin's Rivals ETBs, all between 260 and 275. So just to give you a feel for what you're looking at for time frame, that could be about 3 days worth of supply right now in TCG Player before we're going up to 280. So 3.5 days, we'll be moving again. And that's how Destin's Rivals looking, unless we get a reprint notification or something to cause that price to change. Once again, it's going to be really up to that when it comes down to it on these last sets. How successful Mega Evolutions is it going to be successful, or is Pokemon going to have to shift gears, make money, and push more of the reprints of some of the more popular Scarlet and Violet sets? That's really going to be the question for how well this is going to continue to perform for your investments in the near future here. I'm going to pull open the Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer box as well. Another one to see, because we had that dip all the way down to $100, $98 current. That was a low point, and we're back up to about 110. So this set has, of course, since the release date, has kind of just trickled down, was up about 140, then we came all the way back down, just slowly kind of bounced up from, 110 to 120, back down to 115, 120, 110, under 100 here when we got that small little reprint or availability, and now we're down to about $110 currently with the Prismatic Evolution. And it's been holding strong now since about the beginning of July. So since the beginning of July, we've been sitting at about 108 to 110. So Prismatic is getting into a locked-in point as well. I think there's a lot of questions. I think people are questioning, myself included. Are we getting more reprints of Prismatic? Is this going to be the next Surging Sparks? Do I want to sink a ton of money into it with an upward trend? Or do I want to wait until we see if we get a reprint and then buy down into that reprint again, as I did the last time? I bought down to 100. I bought some at 95. So I bought down into that, and now it's going back up, and I stopped buying when it started to go back up over $100. Like I told you, I was going to buy this down. If it went all the way down to $55, I'm buying Prismatic all the way down to the floor. Yeah, I'm okay with that, because I know overall that the value is going to be in there. And that's exactly what my feelings are on that. It will continue to be that. If we get another reprint of Prismatic, I will buy that into the ground. I will buy it down until if it goes sub 55. If it goes sub MSRP, I will continue to buy that set all the way down into that. Just like I did with Shining Fates, just like I did with Crown Zenith, just like I did with other sets along the way. If I find a set that I think will be very good and very, very strong futuristically and has a reason to be strong futuristically, I will continue to buy that into the ground, just because I know that it'll be successful in 5 years. In 5 years, I am not going to regret buying one of these sets all the way down. We're going to talk about Stellar Crown. Let's go for the last one. This is the last 6 sets here. We're going to give you a quick little update on where we are with Stellar Crown as well. Stellar Crown had a peak back in June of about $225, and currently we're at about $217. The low was about $200 for it at one point in time. We can go back 1 year, and you can go all the way back to when it was $100 back in October, before the big hype coming back out of Surging Sparks. But we were down to $100 at one point in time, and that's when we were buying it from distributors for about $92 a booster box. And since then, since November, when we started seeing the increase of Surging Sparks going into Black Friday and all that, it has gone nothing but up, 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 up. So if you bought it $100 right now, you are at 100 and probably about 105% plus on your investment currently. So good job if you were confident enough to continue to buy Pokemon products around that $100 range when it came out. It was down there for approximately 3 months. You had about 3 months to get in on that, and now it's up over $200 as well, following most of the current sets in the Pokemon TCG. So not 100% surprising that we're seeing that, but I'm just looking up just because just to finish the last one that really kicked things off was Twilight Masquerade. Let's look up the last one here with that Greninja chase, really kicking in the start of all the hype. But of course, Surging Sparks being the final one that really pushed it over the edge. Of course, a lot of YouTube creators pushing the notifications of short print on Surging Sparks really seem to have done its damage to the Pokemon TCG. But if we go back even the Twilight Masquerade, could have bought this at release. Once again, it was about $195 from distributor. Was down to about $115, $120 back in July and August of last year when it was before release. After release, we saw that steady increase of this particular booster box all the way up to about $285. So right now, $285 for Twilight Masquerade. Really, really good value. Continued on that booster box as well. All the Scarlet and Violet late sets have done extremely well overall and seen some really good value. All the booster boxes. I mean, I don't think you can buy a booster box right now in Scarlet and Violet for under $200 at this point in time. So you're definitely not going wrong in any way, shape, or form when it comes down to booster boxes. So here we are, guys. 20 minutes in. I'm going to go through the chat real quick and see what we have real quick. Antonio says, hi. Welcome on in, Antonio. Glad to have you. I see there's about 4 more people. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit that and make sure you get this channel going as well. Hit that subscribe if you're new here as well. Helps out a lot to hit the subscribe and hit that like button. Get the stream going. Also, let me know if you're in the chat, if you got any questions on the Pokemon TCG. Now is the time for the Q&A section that I kind of go on, and we'll go as long as people have questions. If we're having a discussion, we will continue to sit here and discuss it as long as people continue to ask. Or if we hit about an hour and 15 minutes. I usually try and stop at an hour. We usually go overtime. I always call it overtime. If we go over 1 hour, we'll go to about an hour and 15 minutes at that point in time. And then we usually call it quits. So, Antonio, thank you so much for joining in, and how you doing this evening? Blitzkrieg, hey, how you doing, my friend? Welcome on in as well. Blitzkrieg, Pokemon knows what they are doing, and it's on purpose. It absolutely is. Currently, right now, the market is in their favor, and it's in their distributors' favor. Right now, distributors can sell products way over market, almost over MSRP a lot of times, and be able to sell it. Surging Sparks, perfect example of it. Why Surging Sparks probably wasn't going to drop under $200. And I'll be 100% honest, because distributors were selling booster boxes over $195, $190. You had to buy $195 of booster box for Surging Sparks coming out of the distributor on the last reprint. So do you think that people were going to drop too far below $200? Yes, they could have. They could have gone to MSRP and lost money. In this type of market, not too many people were going to do that. They were going to sit there and drive it and stop at about 200 to 205, at least break even on these if they were concerned. Most people sat on it, I think, and now the stock is slowly kind of trickling out into the market at this point in time. So people kind of sat on Surging Sparks, and now we're seeing it trickle out. Pokemon International knows exactly what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're playing this out perfectly. They're keeping the demand in the market. They're riding this out. They're ending Scarlet and Violet, in my opinion, in the smartest way that they can, by not necessarily just making it a dead stop into a new generation. They're making it into a bump into a specialty set of these mega releases. And so we're going to get a few mega sets, and those mega sets are definitely going to have value futuristically when we're sitting here talking about the actual Pokemon TCG. Are they going to be a transition set? That's the other question that we're still going to be learning a little bit about these sets is, are they going to have SIRs, or are they going to have a SIR and a new type of rarity? Maybe they're going to work on something to kind of have people rolling into these mega sets where you get a mix of like 2 rarities into one box, and that could be their changeover going into Gen 10. Maybe not having that dip period that we've seen so many times when you go from one era to the next. We get a dip. We get a drop down of interest in the Pokemon TCG. And with us going into the 30th anniversary here in 2026, are they going to want to potentially do that? Or are they in the mindset that they are going to strictly go ahead and start tightening this up and just kind of make it into a mash area where it slowly rolls into the next one? So it's going to be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how this all plays out. Will it roll in there? How things will roll out in general? And we'll see where everything lays out here in the near future. It's going to be really interesting to see as we get releases from Japan on the mega sets, how they're going to play out, you know, and how this is all going to run its course. Japanese release is definitely going to be the big feel for how Pokemon's going to roll this out and how this is all going to happen. Antonio says, took a year before finding 151 was hard to get. Yep, it was. I mean, 151 was printed a lot. That's been the only major set that we've had any major reprints at this point in time. And to date, it's still probably one of the heaviest printed sets of the Pokemon TCG and Scarlet and Violet. We've seen other sets get reprints, small ones. We've seen Twilight Masquerade. We've seen Stellar Crown. We've seen Surging Sparks now. We've seen Temporal Forces, Paradox Rift. All of them have had little booster box reprints. Nothing of substance, nothing of girth to really give us that value to see reduction into this market, to give you that investment point. Right now, Surging Spark, very small window. If you would have jumped in on that really small window, granted, it wasn't a huge window and it wasn't like a huge drop. It's not like it was even in Sword and Shield where we would see a 20-30% drop in the market value and then you could get in on it. What we have had is just these little dips, these little 5-10% drops, and then you jump in and then it kind of recovers right after that because of the way that these reprints are currently rolling out. I mean, you can sit here and look at Surging Spark. So if we look at the peak at 245, it dropped down to 215 was the low point on TCG Player. So you're looking at a total of about 12% drop in price on that. And now it's already back to 245. So basically what it went up and down in, it realistically chewed that right back up. And that was June 25th to today. So less than 2.5 weeks, only 3 weeks. We've seen the price recover. So there wasn't like there's a lot of time for you to really jump in and get the value out of that either, where you got a chance to really get in on that investment. The windows are very, very tight. If you hear about them, really get ready on those sets for that Pokemon investment point of things. If you're looking to buy a booster box at a potential rock bottom low price, listen to the ground of people talking about reprints, what the reprints are, if there's going to be reprints, and then you got a really small window. It's not like when Lost Origins got a reprint. You had months, and when even at MSRP, you had months to buy that on Pokemon Center to get in on those reprints. We don't have that opportunity right now in Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet reprints are extremely fast. They burn up really quick, and they're gone, and they recover extremely fast. So you don't have that big window, the month-long, 2-3 month window to keep buying into a certain set in Scarlet and Violet. You almost have to really bank in. And when you see the price start falling really quickly, start buying at that point and buy through the low point. As it continues down, you almost have to buy through a low. As you see a set that you want dropping, if you feel that the set is very, very good. So Destin's Rivals, if you feel that it's a very strong set and that you want that futuristically, and you think that in 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, that this is going to be one of the best sets of Scarlet and Violet, and that's your mindset on it, you need to listen for a reprint. When that price starts to drop, you need to buy right through that. You're going to have that mindset right now in Scarlet and Violet sets that I'm buying through that trough. I'm buying through until it hits bottom and then comes back up. When it comes back up, then I stop buying. I start buying when it goes in the other direction. It's a really weird mentality that we haven't had to have currently in the Pokemon TCG until the last 6 months. We had something similar to this like in the early or late 2021, right around Celebrations release with Fusion Strike Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies was a perfect example of it. Every single time that it got a reprint, you had to buy the trough and actually do that. That wasn't something that we like to do very often, but certain sets, even in Sword and Shield, you had to do that. Evolving Skies was always one of them that you had to. You had to listen to reprint, watch the set go down, and you had to just keep driving that trough straight into the bottom until it raised. And that's how you got that value. That's how you got that investment on these sets. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Surging Sparks right now and in other sets in the Scarlet and Violet era. It's a very, very common thing with these small, really, really small releases. It's almost like they're not doing reprints. They're just repackaging, or they're just finally clearing out the warehouse of what they have after about a year. It's like 1 year, 6 months later, they go, well, we have, 10,000, 100,000 booster boxes left in the warehouse. Let's just put them out there. And that's exactly kind of the reprints we've seen. Look at Paldea Evolve. Look at, Obsidian Flames. Look at Paradox Rift. Look at, Temporal Forces. They've all been, even Twilight Masquerade, Stellar Crown, and Surging Sparks, really tiny in comparison on reprints. Not much available from your distributor. Not much available on TCG Player. Not a big blip. Not a big drop. Just really short windows to jump in on them and take advantage of them. So it's a new way. Are they going to continue into the new mega sets that we just pre-ordered today? I don't know. We're really going to have to see how that all plays out. 151 has been one of them sets because of the popularity. They could reprint it again right now, and I would have no problem going and buying a bunch of product from 151. If I were to get my hands on more ETBs at Walmart right now or Target or Best Buy, I would buy them in a heartbeat at MSRP. I would not even hesitate because that set, I think, could be reprinted the same amount again as ever reprint, and it would just be chewed up. But the other reason I think Prismatic is going to be the new Shining Fates is the fact that they keep making new products, or the new Crown Zenith. They keep making products. We got new product releases coming from that as well. 2 new products have just been announced for Prismatic Evolutions. If you guys have not heard, that means that they're probably going to be printing more packs. And if they're printing more packs, that means they're probably going to be releasing other products as well. It's just continuous. It's going to be their gift horse. That's going to be the set that they're really going to drive at this point in time. And I think that there's going to be, it feels like a lot like Crown Zenith and Shining Fates at this point in time. We're going to see multiple reprints for a year, 1 year or 2 years down the road. They're going to come up with a new product. There's going to be one for Black Friday. We're going to have a Black Friday Prismatic special like we did with Crown Zenith. We're going to have a Christmas special box that's going to come out with Prismatic. There's going to be a new exclusive Evolutions box that'll come with Prismatic here in another year. I feel that that's what we're going to see with that set, which we saw a lot with the Crown Zenith. You had Sea and Sky box come out later. That came out almost 2 years, a year and a half, almost 2 years after Crown Zenith's release. The Sea and Sky box came out. They put that Lugia EX, the Lugia one. I mean, there was a lot of specialty boxes that just kept rolling out of that set. And even Shining Fates, we saw some specialty like Black Friday stuff that came out like a year or two after the release. And that may be something that we will continue to see with Prismatic. If you're looking for pack investments, there might be some really good opportunities. If you're looking for product investments, once again, really good opportunities potentially in the future. So, I mean, I think that we're going to be really, really good. It's going to feel a lot like that, a lot like Crown Zenith, and it's going to feel a lot like Shining Fates at this point in time. Antonio says, was able to get booster box and both ETBs today. Fantastic. I got both ETBs, and I did get a 6-pack bundle, one 6-pack bundle. So I did get a couple products as well. I'm excited to get the ETBs. Really, really happy just to continue to get these Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. It's fantastic to do so. So yeah, really happy with that, being able to continue to get those for sure. Antonio also says they're a new mega box supposed to come out also. No, yes, that's what I'm saying is I think there's something like the Sea and Sky box and the Blooming Waters box coming from Prismatic. There's 2 new products coming from Prismatic Evolutions right now. So let me see new let me look them up exactly what they are. Prismatic Evolutions. I'm just putting this in real quick to products because we had a couple of them announced here just in the near future here. So Mr. Mini Tins, what was it? I'm trying to find it on the figurine collection. That's the other one. So we got a figurine collection coming. So that's one of them that we're getting so it's pretty much like the Blooming Waters. There's going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like 8 packs inside of it. You're going to get 8 packs. 2, an Espeon Umbreon figurine, special Espeon Umbreon sleeves, and you're going to be getting an Espeon Umbreon pin. So that's what you're going to get along with the 2 promo cards inside of it. You're going to get an Espeon and an Umbreon promo in there as well. So that box is coming here as well. So, like I said, they're coming out with new products. There's also another package coming out. So there's 2 new products coming out for Prismatic Evolutions at this point in time. It's just the gift horse that just keeps giving. And they're not going to stop using that particular opportunity and that option. So, once again, take your time. Prismatic is not going to be something that I think we're going to see a lot of things disappear on. I think you got time. We're getting more products. We're getting more opportunities. You're getting a figurine collection now with 8 packs of Prismatic in it. That's definitely going to be a really, really big gift horse when it comes down to Prismatic. I think that's not one of them sets that's going. It's something you want to jump on when you get an opportunity, when you see the market drop. But I also think that there's going to be multiple chances to jump in on this train and get in on it because they just keep releasing new products. My feelings is if they're going through and they're making this product that they're making sleeves again, that we might be seeing ETBs again as well, potentially. Not for sure. There's nothing confirmed on that. All that we know for sure is that on September 26th, they will be releasing this Umbreon. They're calling it Prismatic Evolutions Figurine Collection. So it's definitely something that's coming. Let me see. I'm going to look real quick and see if I can find the other product. Because there's two products announced coming up here real quick. I'm going to see if I can find the other one. What's this one? Figurine collection. Oh, there's no. Eevee Groove mini sets announced for that's for Pocket. Just checking real quick because I thought there was a second product and I was kind of shocked that it was coming through again. Another thing, but if I find it, I'll put it up in the on Discord or I'll put it up in the chat as well. Because I thought there was 2 different products. We do know we're getting the figurine collection, and I could have swore there was one more. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the way it was announced. I thought there was 2 more. But right now we do know for sure there's one. The figurine collection is coming. So yeah, plenty of time on that for sure to get in on some more of those products. And guys, I see a few people joined in. Make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe if you're new here. Greatly appreciated. Right now we're talking about Pokemon investment. If you want to, go back and watch from the beginning. If you have any questions about the Pokemon market and what's happening in the Pokemon TCG, make sure you put them in the chat right now. And we'll go over whatever you've got. I can maybe put my 2 cents in on it, and we can discuss it here in the chat as well for anybody that wants to join in and do that. So make sure you guys do that as well as you guys come and hang with us. Antonio says the 6-pack bundle was sold out when I tried to get in. Yeah, it was still available. I was really early on it because I was watching it pre-release. So yeah, I got in on it fairly early, so a lot of the products were still available at that point in time. I didn't do a booster box because I'll get a booster box from distributors, so I'm not too concerned about getting one of those right off the bat. So I know that there's time. I'm hoping that we're seeing a little bit of relax on the mega sets, and I'll be able to get maybe a case of booster boxes from the distributor, maybe get a full case of sleeves. That would be something impressive. He gave me over a case from the distributor this time. It was just in pieces rather than 1 case or 2 cases of Destin's Rivals. So we are starting to see some lack, some availability into that. So definitely was an opportunity that was there. Definitely something that was available at that point. That's available right now is more product seems to be loosening up. Less people are purchasing from distributors, which means either A, they're getting more product, which I don't think so because MJ Holding, I just talked to the rep when Destin's Rivals came out, and they said they got the exact same amount again for Destin's Rivals. So their amount coming in has been very consistent. I'm not thinking distributors got any more at that point as well. Antonio says, got banned, then I jumped on Q at 9:40 a.m. Western. Okay, because I was going to say, what time did I jump in? About 10? I was on there about 10:01 a.m. Central Time was when I got in. So that would have been about 9 o'clock. It would have been 8 o'clock. Maybe it was 11. No, I don't remember. It was like right when it went open. I'm on the a couple of the X creators, and they post right away, and I have them on for notifications. So my phone went off, and I was on like a minute after the queue opened. It might have been 11. I don't remember. It was like 1 minute after the queue opened up. I was already in it, and I was only in queue for about probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I was in. So I was fairly early in that queue. So I didn't get banned or anything. It just went pretty smooth for me. But I had it on my phone. Of course, here I am on my phone. And the worst part about my phone is I can't leave the internet screen on my phone because I've tried shutting it off. I've tried updating it. Maybe somebody's got a trick. If you do, please let me know in the chat afterwards, or let me know in the chat now, comments now. Whenever I go into another app on my phone, it instantly resets my internet on my Android. Instantly. Shuts it off. So I can't leave that app and go do something else. So basically, the second that I went in on it, I was committed to it and had to keep my phone from going black, because if my phone goes black, then it would shut off. If I went through and did the if I went through and go to another app, it shuts the internet off. So it resets my queue position. So my phone is pretty much completely locked up. Even if someone calls me, I had to ignore calls during that just to be sure that I got in on that. Had to requeue at 10:20, was in queue for an hour. Okay. Yeah, and yeah. I just know the queue was on for a really long time, because I got in right when it came on. I was in it for 20 minutes. I went back and checked it at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and it was still up. So it was up for like 5-6 hours. The queue was live. So there was plenty of time to get in on it for sure. So the queue lasted a really long time on this set, which either A, means they made more product and there's a lot more ETBs, or B, the summer slide is really starting to drive people off of this market, and we're starting to get some relaxation in it, and not as many people are fighting for these products. I don't know which it is. I'm hoping we're seeing some lax where we could get some products, maybe have some fun with the Pokemon TCG. But my hopes are is that we continue to just kind of see where we are right now. This market stays pretty consistent at this point in time. And then come this fall, we're going to get extremely busy. That's typically what happens, is the fall really, really kicks it off as we get closer and closer to Black Friday. So we're going to see how this all plays out and where we're at here very shortly. Summer's disappearing. We're already on the back half of summer at this point in time. Tom, is Sword and Shield the play for how long? Booster boxes and ETBs. Sword and Shield is getting to a point where certain sets are going to continue to move. Certain sets are starting to slow down a little bit. So if we go ahead and just pull open like Lost Origins, for example, let me pull open a booster box, because once again, I've kind of stopped because I've got my allocations, but realistically, for 1 month, there's been no change. Let's go 6 months back. We had that bump back in May where we went up $100, but realistically, since then, it's just kind of come back down. So we're sitting at about $500 a booster box. We went from about $380 to $500, and it's kind of flatlined again. And that's what we're going to see a lot with a lot of Sword and Shield products at this point in time, is we're going to kind of see these jumps, and we're going to see these little bops up where they all of a sudden will jump 20%, 15% in a week, and that's what they do, and then they don't really move. ETBs, once again, ETBs have been about 90. We've gone up to 100. So since March, we went from about $80, and now we're at $110 currently on the ETBs, $100 on eBay for a Lost Origins ETB. So steady growth. That one's ETBs are still staying pretty consistent right now. ETBs are always going to slack, in my opinion, compared to the booster boxes due to the rarity of those particular products. ETBs were printed a ton. There's a ton of Sword and Shield ETBs out there. Booster boxes were definitely the hot commodity when it came down to those particular products, or the product lines in Sword and Shield. So if you're looking at booster boxes, definitely something to consider. Booster box versus ETBs, there's a lot more. Same thing with Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest did about $100 bump also. So we were at 260 right in 260 back in April. We had a $100 bump, and we're up to 360. So it looks like we just went through a bump here right at the beginning of summer, and they've just kind of flatlined since. Doesn't mean it's not a play. It probably is a play at this point in time, because do I see them going backwards? Do I see a retraction in the value of these particular sets? No, I think that the value is going to continue to move up, but you're going to see a lot more stair step. Are there better ones, Tom, to maybe jump into for value right now? Yeah, I would be playing more of the reprint game right now in Scarlet and Violet if you're really looking at that investment opportunities. All of them did about a $100 bump last 3 sets, so have done a $100 bump right at the end of the year, or right in May to June. And then since then, they just kind of cooled and stopped moving. Your better bets are probably going to be in Scarlet and Violet right now, especially with reprints. Potentially you'll see these swings down where you'll see a product all of a sudden start making a downturn. Gives you an opportunity to buy that trough, into that trough, and when you see it pull out of the trough, then you stop buying. If it starts going lower again, you continue to buy. You're not going to get those opportunities in Sword and Shield at this point in time. If you're buying Sword and Shield, you're buying it for the long haul, with those big steps, like a big jump up, like a $50, $100 step every so often. Scarlet and Violet may give you a more consistent or more more chance for volatility and growth in that fact. So, is Sword and Shield a real play? I don't think Sword and Shield is much of a play as Scarlet and Violet at this point in time, and then the Mega Evolution set coming up. I think your better plays are in Scarlet and Violet right now. Your better plays are going to be in the Mega sets coming up here in the near future, in my opinion. ETB, same thing. Scarlet and Violet ETBs definitely are reduced in production compared to the Sword and Shield ETBs. So overall, your opportunity cost is better spent on Scarlet and Violet at this point in time. If you're looking for something to just take in the closet, forget about it. Either one will work. Sword and Shield is really going to be one of those ones that's going to bop really quickly, and it's going to cost you a lot of money compared to even Scarlet and Violet. $400 to $800 in Sword and Shield versus $200 to $250 in Scarlet and Violet. That you can get a 2-for-1 deal in the Scarlet and Violet side as well. That would be my opinion when it comes down to investment. Currently, is that all of my plays are currently in the Scarlet and Violet era right now. Surging Sparks was just one of them because of that reprint. It drove the price down. We were able to drive that trough. Same thing with Prismatic. You did that with the Prismatic ETBs. We got more Prismatic product. You drove that trough down until it hit 195, and then you pulled out and you stopped buying, and the price came back up. That's where your opportunity cost is better spent, in my opinion, right now. Once again, not a financial advisor. If you see something differently in Sword and Shield, definitely take advantage of it. There are some auctions, some things that you can pick up and snipe, like individual booster boxes that will really have some value in the Sword and Shield versions as well. So it's really up to what you're able to get. And of course, it's up to what you're comfortable with when it comes down to those investments. Let's see. Getting kind of quiet. Got a lot of people out here tonight. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you're joining us here tonight, of course. Greatly appreciated. We got about 10 or 20 minutes left. 10 minutes left. We got about 10 minutes left in the live. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to talk about real quick? If not, I can always find something to keep the time busy. Give you guys just a couple minutes to come up with something. But the other thing is watch those EV promos. Guys, if you guys were stocking up on EV promos, fun fact, EV promos, EV VMAXs from the Shining Fates. So I'll pull them open real quick. I'll give you the exact value on them because I was looking at them on Sunday, and the pricing on these have continued to just move up, which is just really funny that some of these things that you just don't pay attention to anymore. And I know, like myself, I stored away a lot of these EV promos thinking that they would be potentially worth something, especially if Evolutions continue. I'm an EV fan, Evolutions fan. I figured if it did well, if there was more sets, something that really took off, that they would have some value at some point in time. But here's the EV VMAX. Oh, darn, I keep hitting the wrong set. Let's go to the Black Star promos from here. We're going to go EV VMAX. We're going to put up, right now it's at $4. So if you were buying these, you could have bought these cards just not that long ago for like $2. $2 to $1.50, $2, anything like that. And now they're all the way up to $4. So we're seeing TCG Player right now selling them at $4, Card Market at $4.09, eBay at $3.78. So $3.78 on eBay. So we're really seeing some of those promo cards. If you would have bought those at like $1.50, at one point they were down to like $1 a piece. And if you could have bought a group of those, put them away, it just shows you that Black Star promos still, you think that they're not going to have value. And yes, they take a little bit more time to gain that value. But once again, they're showing that we have some really good opportunities here. Tom, what's the SB151 timeline until it jumps? It's going to depend on if we see any more reprints of 151. They just came out with more Blooming Waters, so we got more Blooming Waters currently out there, 151. If you're looking at the sealed products, I think they're going to see fairly well. The Charizards, those kind of cards, have seen kind of a retraction or a pull down in the last few months. So we're seeing some of the singles really go down in value in Scarlet and Violet. But yet the sealed product is still doing really well. We can look at, for example, the Elite Trainer Box is a good example. 1 month really hasn't done much. We're getting to a point where it's going to get really hard to see really, really big gains, but it has been pretty consistent. And then by the chart, but what I'm seeing right now, definitely just seeing a consistent move up right now on TCG Player, even from value. So if we go back 6 months, it was at about 175 right now for an Elite Trainer Box. And every month it's been going up by about 3, 4, maybe even 5% per month. That we're already up to about 250 right now for that particular ETB. So over the last 6 months, we've seen about an $80 value gain in that box. So we've seen consistent growth month over month. Actually, it's about 9% per month. But it's done really, really well. So 151, I don't think you're going to see those really big gains. So like Blooming Waters would be a product where you might see that really, really big gain on it, just because of the fact that that gain is going to happen quickly because it got a reprint. More became available. The price went down a little bit. You can see here on the chart, the value went from about 140. It dipped all the way down here when we had that reprint down to about 100 to 105. Then it kind of came back up, and now it's just been slowly regaining back up to 125. So Blooming Waters is something. Some of those sets are going to have a little bit more movement on them, but definitely seeing the value overall in those sets, especially when it comes down to 151. Just consistent. I think you're going to see more consistent growth on those. As long as we don't get any major reprints, get another million ETBs or something out there. The single prices, as more Blooming Waters comes out, kind of more sets kind of show up. The value of the singles is going down, but the overall value of the 151 is going up. So once again, I think it's a good buy. It's been consistent. We're seeing consistent growth on all the products, so I definitely don't think you'll be hurt by purchasing any of those products. Horizon, welcome on in. Thank you for joining. And Tom, thank you for joining as well. And thanks for the comments as you guys join on in. Horizon says, any good place to find people for trading sealed product? I want more Fusion and Evolving Skies booster boxes, but I don't know who to ask or where to look for trades. I would join a place like Rattle Pokemon or potentially like Professor Oak's Discord. I would love to have mine to that point, but my Discord is definitely not to that caliber at this point in time. But yeah, if you go on there and actually put in there like the sales sites or for trade, I think that Rattle Pokemon has a sealed product for trade. You might be able to work some deals out with some people in there. Rattle's Discord is very, very good for that. I don't know if there's other Discords out there. Maybe some people in the comments that are watching this later could definitely do that too. Yeah, Mountain Peak just said I was gonna say card shows too. If you get any local card shows, I know a lot of the vendor, like my friend does vendor at the Minnesota one, and he does product trades all the time. So if he has Fusion Strike and you put it out there, or if he has Fusion Strike or Evolving Skies with him, then he's definitely willing to do those trades. He definitely does sometimes like to get trades for modern products. So if you've got like modern booster boxes, he will sometimes trade for like Sword and Shield and older, more expensive sets, because the newer sets are more lucrative. They'll move faster just because the price is a little bit better on those. So sometimes he does like those a little bit better. So card shows, definitely a great opportunity to get in on those. Rattle Pokemon has a really good Discord for that and a good opportunity for that as well. Professor Oak sometimes throw it up there on his for sale or trade. Definitely some good places to try. Otherwise, I really don't have any place that's really, other than that, that's really good to try and do that with. Mountain Peak TCG, welcome on in, and thank you for the membership join as well. I really want to get more 151 packs. I do too. Honestly, I've got probably about 200 of them right now, just loose packs that I've collected over the last year and a half. And I would really like to double that. Personally, I would love to have double that amount in stock. The problem is that I would probably have to stop selling them on my store as well, because they are still pretty lucrative, which is nice. So they give you that value that you really want to continue to push the sales and keep things moving on them, just because it's good to get throughput for cash a lot of times in your business, especially in the summertime. I don't necessarily like to. I'm trying to hold those 200. I'm really not planning on selling them. I got 200 Evolving Skies packs. I got 200 151 packs. I got 200 Crown Zenith packs, and I'm really in Paldean Fates ones. I'm really trying to maintain that level. I really don't want to have to sell those. But when it comes down to it, if I need cash flow, and cash is king, guys, once again, if you're running a business, cash is king. If I need to sell them, I need to sell them, and I know that they'll move fairly quickly. They're pretty lucrative items, and they do move rather fast if we want to. Tom says 151 and Prismatic will go down in its history as Demigod and God packs. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. The God packs and demigod packs are so much fun inside of those sets, especially since they were the first versions that we've actually gotten them in English as well, which was huge. They actually get that in the English versions. I mean, they've been doing it in Japan for quite a while, but getting them in English was just so much fun. A lot of fun to see the demigod packs come into the Pokemon TCG. Absolutely, or in the English Pokemon TCG. Fun, fun, fun. I love chasing them. Best I've ever seen is a demigod pack pulled in front of me from an ETB. Really fun to see that. A lot of fun. I hope they continue to do that on these specialty sets. It'd be really fun to see that continued and moving forward. Let's see. We got Mountain Peak TCG. Sheesh. I'm struggling to find them less than 95% of market value, and profit percentage super low. It is. The profit percentage is so right now the problem is a lot of mine are old. So I do get them from distributor and I break them down. I get them from products like the, for example, I get like the what are they? Like the binders, and I get like the poster collections, and I get those particular products, and I break a lot of them down a lot of times. Like up here right now, we've got the Zapdos boxes, but I'm trying to get them right now 95% under market value. You got to remember when I was getting them, I was getting them for like 70% of market value, but they were coming from distributor by getting that, and on top of it, the market at that point in time was like $6-7 a pack. Now it's like $13-14 a pack. So there's been a huge increase just by holding that for that long period of time. Roxbury69, thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I think people next will make a run on earlier Scarlet and Violet first. Then after that, Sword and Shield again. Yeah, I think that that's what I was saying. I think your better play is definitely going to be in Scarlet and Violet right now. There's more volatility. There's more chance of reprints. There's more chances to get more for your dollar, to see rushes and more value changes into the in Scarlet and Violet at this point in time. Horizon long-term outlook on prismatic Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, like price prediction in 5 years. I think that prismatic evolution, it's really going to take a little bit for the set to settle down. Not going to lie, we got to get the set to kind of settle down, and they need to stop making new products. These random new products every 3 months on this set is just a pain in the butt when it comes down to the overall market volatility of this product. So, for example, that was up to almost $300 at one point in time up in March. So $350 for that ETB. We have seen it all of a sudden come all the way back down to about $215. Right now, I think would be a good time to buy into it, or at least continue to buy down with it. In 5 years, I could see this being a $350, $400 Elite Trainer box, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box. We just need to stop seeing new products and new stuff coming out of this set, and then we'll see the value go up on these particular products. All of the Prismatic Evolutions products are doing a lot of jumping up and down at this point in time. And a lot of it is just strictly because of the fact that people are unsure at how the value is going to maintain because of reprints, new products. If new products are being announced, so if we know we're getting a Prismatic Evolutions figurine, does that mean that Pokemon's going to make more ETBs? Does that mean they're going to make more pouches? Does it mean that they're going to make more, something else? I mean, are they just going to focus on the figurine collection, or are they going to potentially focus on other items? That's really going to be the value changes when we're looking at these particular products. Once we get through that, and it'll really start to settle in, once we get that settle in point at about a year mark, and where people start feeling more comfortable with the set, is really going to give us the value that we're looking for on that. Horizons, are you still thinking Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes have the better long-term value, or is there better margins to buy more of the regular ETBs for sets? I think that your better value is going to be in the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. So far, not a single one has gotten a reprint in Scarlet and Violet. Yes, there's been some restocks, very, very small, very short windows to get into it. But overall, I think the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes are going to well overperform the Pokemon or the standard ETBs. And the price difference on them is not a lot. I mean, if you're going to buy, granted, you're not going to get as many unless you start buying them secondary market and trying to play the secondary market. But if you can get them yourself, get a few of them, put them away, that's going to be your really strong high cap fund. I'm using market terms right now for what we would be looking for. You buy a Pokemon Center. So, for example, Prismatic Evolutions ETB versus the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box. The Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box is going to be your high cap. Your Pokemon Center is going to be your market, your standard market cap. it's going to move because the high cap is going to be locked. It's not going to have much movement. There's going to be a set amount that's out there right now. We aren't seeing any new ones, so thus the price of that may go up and down a little bit, but overall it's going to have like a floor, and you know what the value is probably going to go up on that. The actual ETBs, there is no volume set on those particular ETBs. They could always reprint more of those ETBs, and when they reprint more of those ETBs into the market, that of course is going to cause volatility on the ETBs. Gives you those up and down opportunities to buy in, gives you that trough to chase. It gives you those opportunities on those ETBs to get in on them and really get the value out of those. So that's always there. And that's where I think you'd be good buying them on Pokemon Center, paying MSRP, get in line, get the couple of them from Pokemon Center, sit on those as your high caps, and then go back and go buy some of the regular ETBs a lot of times and just sit on the regular ETBs as well if you can get them at MSRP or slightly above and just ride them out for a long period of time. I think that they will do well as also. Market Peak TCG. What would be a suggested dollar amount for continuously buying from a distributor to build a good relationship? I know that buying the shitty products helps, but I'm trying to see how much money I need to use. So far, I don't know. You might want to ask someone like Danny Phantom that particular question, because honestly, I'm spending per month. I was up to almost about $8,000 to $9,000 per month on Pokemon products, and it wasn't enough. From what I got out of my sales rep, I was told somewhere around $100,000 is going to give you a very good reputation. $50,000 plus is going to keep you at a consistent level when it comes down to the Pokemon products. I was nowhere near that. I just don't. I do this part-time. I'm only online 2 days a week. It's not like I'm sitting here doing like Alex where I'm a full-time job, or Danny Phantom or any of them guys this is their job. This is their career. And that is definitely a situation that I don't know what that number is for sure. I'm just giving you a relay for what they told me. I wasn't making enough. $8,000 to $9,000 a month was not enough to even assist me in locking a position. And they told me $50,000 would have kept me the same, and to make them happy, you're probably going to be around $100K a month right now. So that means you got to buy every shitty product known to man in order to try and keep them happy. And to be 100% honest, I don't think you should be needing to do that. I think that they should be loyal to you if you're loyal to them during the low times. I really have a really big problem when it comes down to that. The fact that the distributors just kick you to the curb when people aren't even in Pokemon all of a sudden want product. And I don't know how to keep that loyalty. Be 100% honest, it just doesn't sound like you'll ever get it for sure. If someone comes in with $1 million and you have $100,000 and they got $1 million sports account, they're going to override you. That's just what's going to happen. Let's see. Agent Crypto question. Looks like Hidden Fates was undervalued after all. Will it continue to rise? I don't know. It could continue to fall too, but it just depends. I mean, we've seen a little bit of a rise here. So in the last 6 months, I mean, it's been continuous like we talked about the last time. It's just continuously kind of moving up at a slow pace. We had a jump in June, and since then it's kind of gone back to the same pace. Will it continue to rise? Yeah, we talked about it 6 months ago. It's continued to rise. Is it undervalued? I don't know if it's undervalued. Once again, saying something is undervalued is meaning that it's really you think it's way behind where it should be for market value. Do you think that Hidden Fates is at $400 is way behind market value? I don't think it's too far behind market value. I think it's right where it is. If you look at all the other products around it, they're all sitting pretty consistently at that pricing as well. Whether you look at the collection boxes, price per pack, you break down the tins, the 4 or 3 different types of tins, the actual packs themselves. I mean, price per pack, you're right where the price per pack is. So what really caused that price to go up was the fact that the actual packs went up in value. And so is it actually a lot, or is it actually underrated or undervalued? No, the packs just went up in value because we're seeing a lot more rippers in this current market going after Hidden Fates and like Cosmic Eclipse. Cosmic Eclipse right now is making a move as well. Yeah, you're welcome, Mountain Peak. No problem. Like I said, to say it's undervalued, it's really hard. I mean, is all these sets, any set could be potentially undervalued, but if you're waiting, if you look back 2 years and say that it's undervalued, ask if something's undervalued, and the price all of a sudden jumps 6 months later, Was it undervalued? No. Something could have caused the market to change. It wasn't undervalued 6 months ago, but maybe now it is. It's hard to say. But a lot of the older Sun and Moon sets are really getting some popularity right now with streamers. I'm seeing a lot of streamers opening the older sets. Cosmic Eclipse all of a sudden is making a move as well. The price per pack on those has gone up as well. I mean, a sealed Cosmic Eclipse pack now is up to $50 at this point in time. So, I mean, is it undervalued? No, we're just seeing popularity in it. It wasn't undervalued when we talked about it either. It's just we're seeing popularity in it. And streamers are moving. When streamers move, the value moves. Horizon. I tried to pick up Hidden Fates at retail when they were doing a restock years ago, but never found any in the wild. No clue if stalkers were hiding the product or what. They only had Champion's Path. Hidden Fates ETBs were extremely hard to find. In the wild. I will tell you that 100%. Even when Hidden Fates came out, it was extremely hard to get the ETBs in the wild. We had more success finding like the Raichu box. So when Hidden Fates came out, even in 2019, we did a lot of the Raichu boxes. The tins were very common. The Charizard EX, GX box. There was the Gyarados, Raichu, and the Charizard GX box. The 3 tins, the Gyarados, Raichu, and Charizard tins were very, very common. You can find those all over the place. There was the pin collection. There was some kind of pin collection. There was 1 or 2 of those, like a Mewtwo pin collection that was out there. That was very easy to find, but the ETBs were never easy to find in the wild. Our stores really never got very many of those. I'm just pulling open the product line right now and see what I got. So if I go to the sealed product availability, yeah, there was the Ultra Premium collections. I never saw those in the wild. The Hidden Powers, the Premium Powers collection, never saw that. And I never saw the Great Ball collections either, because there's a Great Ball collection boxes. I never saw those. So I never saw those in the wild, those 4 products. And they are the most expensive products of the list. The other stuff was definitely available. The Raichu boxes, I remember buying the Raichu boxes at clearance from GameStop and at Target. They were actually in the clearance aisle because nobody was buying those. Same thing with the Gyarados box. Gyarados and Raichu boxes, we were buying them at clearance because nobody wanted the things. So that's where we were getting our Hidden Fates from at the time. Tins, more common, very common to find tins in the stores at Walmarts and Targets. The other stuff just never was available. I don't know if it was very short printed or, like you said, people were taking it off the shelf before it was there. I don't know, but it's just really, really interesting to see how difficult it was to find those in the wild. I never saw them. Champion's Path is everywhere. Hidden Fates was nowhere to be found, even when they had that reprint. Let's see. I was so lucky. I found Hidden Fates tins on Black Friday for $12.99. I bought them, all 12 tins. Yeah. Hidden Fates had a lot of clearance products. The tins were actually very, very cheap on Black Friday specials. The Raichu, the Gyarados boxes were all on clearance. I know we bought those on clearance. The Charizard one, I never saw the Charizard one on clearance. We did buy the Charizard GX box. It was common to find. But the Raichu and the Gyarados box, dime a dozen, right? We were buying them for like $9.99 at Walmart and GameStop. We were price matching. So you go to Target had them for like $9.99, and you go to GameStop and they would price match, and they had a whole pile of them Raichu ones, and we were buying the Raichu ones from GameStop for $9.99 a box. It was just, back then Pokemon wasn't as expensive as what it is now. It wasn't hard to find these products at a very reduced price. But the ETBs were never easy to find. I've got at least 2. I got 2 in my room right now, and I know that I have a whole case of 10 of them, but I did not get them at a store. I bought those on eBay to get the 10 pack or the 10 case that I have of those boxes. And I think I paid like $100 a piece for those at the time because they just never saw them, and that was a little bit later in time when I purchased those. But all right, guys, we're over an hour. Just like that. Boom. Overtime even. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. So greatly appreciate everybody who joined in. Once again, if you could, share the channel. If you're new here, hit the subscribe. Hit that like button. Help out the stream. Also, in the comments, if you would like, make sure you let me know. I had a couple questions along the way. Make sure if you can answer those if you watch the video back, of course, greatly appreciated. Last but not least, if you want to help out the channel, consider the membership. Cool Trainer Ryan, thank you so much. He put out 50 gift memberships, so we did get a lot of new members to the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. Hopefully we can retain some of those. If you do that, then you get some benefits for the NorthwoodsTCG.com site. We also go live on Friday and Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, or 9 p.m. Central Time here. 9 p.m. Central Time, and that way we do our rip and ships on Friday and Sunday night. We do have a lot of different options. We're having a couple different ways that you can join in on that. And of course, if you are a member, you get to do the Guess the Energy game as well. Mountain Peak TCGs, how can we best support you? Best way is to either A, join the channel membership. That's the number one way, best way to support the channel. I see you're already a member, so greatly appreciate it. If you continue that membership, it's a great way to support the channel and help out. The other way you can help out too is just check out NorthwoodsTCG.com if you see anything. Prices are a little high right now, not going to lie. But as things cool down, we'll get back to MSRP, and the pricing will become more reasonable when it comes down to the products. Hopefully here in the next couple months. I'm hoping to see a retraction in this market where we can get some value back from our distributors and get more products. So if I can get product from distributors at my normal pricing, then I will put it at MSRP as well. But best way to support, of course, join the channel membership. That's greatly appreciated. Hit the like, hit the share button too. Mountain Peaks is a great way to help out the channel. If you know people that are interested in Pokemon investment and what's going on in the market, share this with them because that helps out a ton as well. But other than that, thank you everybody for joining. If you do want to also support the channel, check out the merch shop. We got the Gengar Made Me Do It shirt as well. And once again, thank you everybody that's joined in the comments. Horizon, thank you so much for dropping in as well. I was hoping to see Heidiss in here as well. He's kind of been commenting after the live, so I was hoping I get to see him. It's been a little bit. Horizon says, thanks for acknowledging us and staying bully free. I absolutely hate drama and I hate the bullying. So once again, thank you for being here. I try to be knowledgeable and give you information that can help you guys and stay reasonable, stay down to earth on how that knowledge is and make sure you guys can use it and give you at least a direction for what might be best for you in the Pokemon TCG. So other than that, everybody, thank you guys for joining. Greatly appreciated for being here this evening. As always, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share, hit that notify to make sure you know when we're live. And last but not least, hopefully we will see you on Friday. If you want to just come and support the live and just talk, you know, just like this. If you want to do a forum during a rip and ship and just talk about the Pokemon TCG, trust me, it makes the live go so much better when we have conversation and activity. Activity, talking, writing in the chats, and being in the chat is a fantastic way to support as well. So everything you guys can do on that is greatly appreciated as we're building and trying to continue to grow here on Northwoods TCG. Otherwise, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. And we hope to see you live here on Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time here on Northwoods TCG.